ASMR Magical Tools. Aries, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. So, it used to be part of the conventions of programming where they would have commercial breaks and they would say like if you've watched Monty Python and you hear them say and now for something completely different. But this being, we're gonna interrupt this message to bring you a word from our sponsor. That kind of deal. I guess they still do that in YouTube videos now. When people do sponsored videos, they'll have and now from X, Y, or Z sponsor, HelloFresh, Hunt a Killer. I'm not sponsored by any of them right now, so I won't really plug anybody in particular. But it's almost like a breaking news bulletin. This breaking news bulletin, there's, somebody seen driving recklessly, getting away from the cops, at the corner of blah, blah, blah. And, you could be like, oh, that's right around the corner from my house. Or that affects me in some way. So that there could be breaking news, and then you hear something and you're like, oh my goodness, I better get home because this could be affecting my house. This could be affecting my life in some way. Obviously, you're not the only one who's going to be affected by it, but that there is a burden of perpetuity to whatever crime has been committed that is specific to you. Burden of perpetuity. I'm not entirely sure what that means. But I think everything's gonna be okay. It's just gonna be a little touch and go for a minute. So it could be that if there's a fire, it could be a fire on your block, so that it interferes with your ability to leave or get home to your house, and that there are going to be aspects of this in the week ahead which end up being very stressful for you, not because you're directly involved, but because the threat is there. The threat is there, but not the consequence. Alright, Aries. If you would, please direct your questions here. And I will put them into the cover of this book. Except for that one. I deserve a tasty snack every now and again. Alright. Something about the updraft. The updraft creates a plume of smoke in the night sky that can be seen for miles and miles around, and attracts looky-loos like onlookers. Tempt not these whom thou meetest or hast to deal with by showing unto them thy money bags. this reading resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello Taurus, hello Taurus, hello Taurus. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Taurus, I feel like it's like a YouTube rabbit hole you've been going down with like cooking channels. And not even necessarily like, I think that you've been trying out like a lot of these different recipes. And that could be something that you are doing to occupy your time this summer. Occupy your time in a productive fashion. Sorry, I've been drinking a soda. And that it's possible that you end up filming a few videos of your own. But this making of food turns into through extension of you trying out all these new recipes, you end up sharing this food with your friends, and it ends up being something which brings your friend group closer together, possibly. So this could be going down a YouTube culinary rabbit hole. It could be cookbooks. It could be that you end up just I'm seeing you specifically in the kitchen, so there might be scenarios that relate to people in a more general sense, but I'm really seeing like Taurus, you in the kitchen, cooking things to share with other people, and this might be something which you do at first unintentionally, that people start responding to it in a really positive way, and you decide to pursue it and kind of take it a little bit further. Not to the extent that you're like going to culinary school or anything like that, but that it's a way for you to bring people around you closer together. So doing more like dinner parties or bake sale type stuff, not necessarily like a bake sale, but like having kind of like a picnic with all your friends out at the park, and you bring like a bunch of baked goods to share with them or something like that. This kind of togetherness is really like the root of that divination for you this week, Taurus. So if you would, please direct your questions here to the cover of this book. All right. Someone will pity and release the prisoner. So if somebody that you love is in bondage, they will be released. Inversely, however, this could be a situation where somebody who has wronged you is locked up or otherwise bound, and they might also be released this week. Taurus, thank you so much let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Gemini. Welcome back. Welcome back, Gemini. Welcome back. Welcome back. Gemini. I don't just hear that you're playing with fire. I hear it more like you're playing with a flame. Playing with a flame. Playing with a flame. So there could be something that is a spark. Could be a spark of creativity. A spark of judgment. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it's kind of like playing with fire. But I'm hearing it as playing with a flame, which could be kind of like a double entendre. Playing with a flame could be like somebody with whom you're having a fling, right? Someone with whom you might be romantically involved, and you're also playing with fire in that it might be a dangerous thing for the two of you to be doing something together, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are having an affair or something like that. You could both be involved in things that are not conducive to a good life together, whether that is struggling with addiction or having lots of fights. There could be things going on between you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be infidelity. It could be any number of things, but then flame could also be like a creative spark as well. So there could be a creative aspect to this, that because you are involved with each other in this very intense way, perhaps it is inspiring your art or inspiring their art. So be very careful in the week ahead. There's jealousy. Jealousy is going on. So if both of you are creative persons, then one of you could be having a very creative spark on account of this, and the other person might be jealous of that. I don't see it as being necessarily like the kind of jealousy that you typically see in relationships where somebody doesn't want you to hang out with certain people. This is more like a jealousy of one partner having things that the other partner desires. Whether that is like talent or connections, and not connections like, oh, you could be running around on me, but like connections to people who could advance your career. Things like that, jealousy about things like that, rather than jealousy about things within the relationship and potentially having to do with third-party situations. So, Gemini, just beware and be wary this week. Also, watch out for fires. Don't leave candles unattended or incense or anything. And if you are using like oxygen, if you're using oxygen, be very careful around flammable items like oxygen and gasoline and things like that. And if you would, please direct your questions here into the cover of this book. almost like a military career to seek your fame and fortune. They're speaking directly to a time when warfare was much more likely to bring you some kind of fame like that. But there are other things that are very dangerous nowadays that you can do to gain fame. So steer clear, steer clear, steer clear. Gemini, thank you for joining me this week. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments section. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Cancer. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Cancer, the stars are aligned. The stars are aligned for you. Regarding what kind of a situation? This is something where somebody had something to do with somebody's front door. It could be a door opening for you. Something about the threshold, about the doormat. Maybe somebody has something written on a doormat that has significance to you. But this threshold could also just represent the stars in alignment for a new opportunity to open up for you. And this could be something that you had hoped would occur. This could be something that is a total surprise. I feel like it is something because they're saying like the stars align for you, right? That's how I'm hearing it. That this is something that you've been lining everything up for also. So not just that the stars are aligning, but that you have taken an active part in this particular circumstance and having it come to fruition, come to fruition, come to fruition, come to fruition. So there will be something possibly over the next week that you have called into your life and will be coming together. And there's going to be like signs along the way letting you know that you are going in the right direction and that this thing is about to happen for you. Alright, Cancer. And if you would, please direct your questions here into the cover of this book. Oh, this one looks tasty. I'm just gonna eat that. Will try to circumvent thee, but he will be foiled in his attempts. So there could be haters trying to hold you back, but they will not succeed. They will not succeed, Cancer. Whatever this is has been written in the stars for you, and it will be coming through this week. A door opening for you. so much for joining me. If you got something out of this reading, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Leo, 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 Leo. Welcome back, welcome back. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all my sun sign Leos watching this video who might be celebrating a birthday this week. This week. Something about a happy accident. Happy accident. Happy accident. Some kind of gentle misfortune. This could be something happening to someone else that ends up benefiting you, so that you're not happy that it happened this way, but you are happy about the outcome. The outcome. I don't see this being like an accident that you are experiencing. This is something like when they used to have those sales, or I guess maybe they still do, and they're like, we ordered too many of this thing and now we have so many of them, we have to put them on sale or we'll never get rid of them. So there could be something like that. Or if you're, like, it's kind of like being an understudy and then the main actor has something happen to them and that ends up being your big break. So it could be something like that, where there's some kind of happy accident that causes you to succeed. But be very gracious about this, of course, because it looks like there might have been a situation where someone else has some misfortune befall them. And of course, we never want that to be what has happened to cause our success. But unfortunately, that is sometimes the case. So just make sure that the energy you are putting forth is very gracious and rooted in rooted in gratitude. I was trying to think of that word. Alright, Leo. And if you would, please direct your questions here into the cover of this book. To the cover of this book. This one. And this one here. This one. I do hope you will excuse the fly in my apartment. You might hear it buzzing from time to time. Every once in a while, we get a fly in here. Show thy friend by good treatment of him that it is his interest to be faithful to thee. So if you have good friends, be good friends to them. Not using people, but also being mindful of your treatment of others, and always trying to be a good friend to others. Being a good friend to others, which I always thought was a trait Leos could be exceptionally successful in. Alright. Oh, because of their loyalty, that's why. Leo, if this reading resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for your crystal scrying, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Virgo, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, Virgo. Something about aliens and how if there are space aliens, why haven't astronauts brought back evidence of alien life? Why have astronauts brought back evidence of alien life? And of course, it's a very interesting question because you think about the relationship between ants and the human race, right? So ants are very small, and there's not an effective way for them to communicate with us. We can mimic their pheromones. We can put them into little clear containers to observe them and things like that. But our perception of ants is going to be very different from their perception of us. Do they really understand what it is that we are? And that's kind of like how I think about our possible interactions with space aliens, with individuals who might have come from a different universe. We consider ourselves the dominant species of this planet, which, I mean, you could argue for or against that endlessly. That's not exactly what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is the idea that there are entities beyond the scope of our control, and they may or may not exist, and we are not going to be able to find definitive proof of that at our current evolutionary level. Our current evolutionary state is not catered towards obtaining any more information about interstellar travelers than we already have. And it might indeed be very difficult for us to communicate with them in a way that they would understand. Not because they would be more primitive than we would, but because they would be so much further advanced that things that have meaning to us, the same way that ants, the pheromone trails of ants have a specific meaning to them, but if they left a pheromone trail for a human being, it would not have any meaning to that human being. Would not have any meaning. And their perception of that human being might be very different from how we actually are. But of course, reality is all relative. All of reality is contingent upon context. So, what this means for you over the week ahead, Virgo, is that there is a translational gap. And this might be between you and space aliens. It could be between you and an entity with which you are working. That's also a possibility. Or you could think that your house is haunted, and maybe it is not haunted in the way that you perceive. Maybe there's something else going on. Any of those things are possible, but just understand that it is going to be impossible for you to have every shred of context required to understand the total reality of the situation. Alright, Virgo, if you would please direct your questions here into the cover of this book. I will just take them and just butter it up nicely, like a piece of bread. Like a piece of bread. Let not old women who pretend to medical knowledge tamper with the patient's constitution. So, they don't mean old women necessarily, but you know, like old wives' tales about treatments that you can use for different ailments. Err not on the side of folk medicine, but rather, if it's necessary, seek out professional medical care. Professional medical care. And listen to doctors. During this time, during the week ahead specifically. Virgo, thank you so much for joining me this week. If you found that this reading resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Libra, 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 Libra. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Libra. Just like Easter is about eggs and Jesus, this week you might be coping with exegesis. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist the opportunity to slip something like that in there. So there could be a situation. This could be with an ideological group. So it could be a church. It could be a group of friends who are particularly political. It could be a political group you're a part of. It could be another type of organization that has very strong beliefs or very strong bylaws that you are expected to follow to the T. That this week you find yourself distancing yourself from these people. Libra can have a tendency toward this Knight of Swords energy, the ideologies behind things, and our equality with others, and trying to make sure that everyone has access to this equality. But I brought up Easter for a reason. I did. I brought up Easter because... Sorry, I didn't mean to snort right in the microphone. I brought up Easter because there is a rebirth there. A rebirth. So, one thing about the Easter egg is that it is a symbol of fertility. Symbol of fertility. Now, I do believe that there are probably pagan rites that are the origins for wholesale. You can watch my Wheel of the Year video and see the research that I did about what is now the modern pagan or Wiccan calendar. And I realize pagan and Wiccan isn't exactly the same, but pagan and Wiccan people both use this calendar, the Wheel of the Year. But eggs are definitely a symbol of fertility. For good reason, right? They're not just a symbol of fertility, they are fertility. And of course, then we have the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, which is also associated with the holiday of Easter. And Jesus was somebody who experienced exegesis also. It's right there in the name, right? I'm gonna let it go, I promise. I might slip that in one more time, but probably not. I think I'm done with that pun on words that spin. So, even though Jesus Christ is now heralded as one of the most influential religious figures of the modern era, when he was alive, there were people who greatly maligned him, and religious leaders who did not consider him the Son of God. So this is going to be something similar for you. I don't know that it will be quite as momentous, but it is going to be a similar situation where we're dealing with things having to do with fertility. We're dealing with religious or ideological organizations from which you are going to be excommunicated. And we are dealing with the idea that most likely the ideology which you are putting forth is the correct one. Alright, so all of those things are possible in the week ahead for you, Libra. And if you would just lend me your questions. Lend me your questions. Good job, great job, great job. Thy fame will resound to the farthest corner of the earth. So, this could be a situation which puts you into the spotlight even. Obviously, this is a general reading, so that might not be true for every single person, that it will bring you fame. But it is likely to bring you a level of infamy in your immediate circles. Libra, thank you so much for joining me for your crystal scrying. If this reading resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Scorpio. Scorpio. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Scorpio. The Palatine Hill. Now let me just quickly look this up. ancient Rome. I'm trying to remember, like, what the stratification of the Palatine Hill was. That's the point at which Romulus and Remus were found by the she-wolf who raised them, and is also thought to be the site of Hercules' defeat of Cacus. So part of the Herculean myths also. It's one of the most ancient parts of the city. The Flavian Palace was there. But, yeah, the imperial palaces were built here. And it was a hill mostly occupied by the homes of the rich. There is a poisoning going on in the upper stratosphere of wealth. And I'm not trying to get overly political with this reading, so let me kind of figure this out a little bit more. So the Palatine Hill was like the center of the city because it was like the original site, right? And thus was claimed by the wealthy as the site where they wanted to have their homes. But this creates a problem because it separates those people completely from the people over whom they have dominion and sway. So like the imperial palaces, once those people are separated from the populace at large, they become largely disaffected to the needs of the greater populace. You don't want rulers who are wealthy. You want rulers who have the means by which to affect change for the people, but are not taken in by these trappings of wealth. The trappings of wealth. There's this idea that people with money know what's best for everyone, but actually their wealth might do more good if they sought out and were able to perceive which people were actually best suited to these tasks, and then delegate and fund projects appropriately, i.e. just paying your taxes. That's about as close as you can get in this day and age, right? Now I said I'm not trying to get too political, but there might be a situation like this coming up for you this week, which is why I have framed it the way that I did. In that, everybody who is watching this video is going to theoretically possess some level of privilege. And this privilege might not be great, but it might remove you just far enough from a particular situation that your opinion on that particular situation ends up being poisonous. So be very cautious in your dealings over the next week, and understand where you are able to make a positive difference in people's lives, and understand the difference between that and when you are interjecting possibly an opinion message that is coming through for you this week. So if you don't feel like it applies to you, then you certainly are not obligated to follow up on it. Scorpio, please lend me your questions. Lend me your questions. Now I'm going to rub them into the cover of this book. Yeah, I get a little peckish when I do these readings. Alright, Scorpio, that was a tasty question. Commit the several members of thy family to care of an all-seeing providence, and he will protect them. And providence is capitalized, so providence is in like a higher power. Providence is in a higher power. Alright, Scorpio, thank you so much for joining me for your reading. If this resonated with you, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Sagittarius, you're at home a lot these days. I feel like you're splitting your time between the home and your local library. You could also have a job that you're doing, but I'm really getting like the sense that you go to the library when you want to be very, very alone, when you want to have some time to think to yourself. This might be because you have roommates. It might be because you are avoiding someone who also lives with you. But it might also be because the library is guaranteed to be a quiet place. Here in the apartments where I live, for example, shooting video over the past week or so has been a little tricky. A little bit, just a little bit. Not so much as so you'd really notice, but they're doing a lot of work here in my apartment building. A couple of people have moved out, and these apartments tend to be kind of loud anyway, but they're quieter, I believe, than other apartments in Van Nuys. It's just that we live in the valley, and we live like a mile away from Van Nuys Airport. So that means that it's just going to be loud, and I'm just going to have to deal with it. But the quiet and solitude that you are able to get in the library, I don't feel like you are actively running away from problems when you do this. You are able to take part in enriching activities that bring you contentment and joy, so that you are able to find a certain amount of escape in this. It's kind of a vicarious situation where you're able to disappear into books, and so it's like vicarious for travel. Instead of traveling or driving around or something like that, you go to the library and you read these books, and they transport you to other places. And over the next week, you might be availing yourself of this opportunity, that this is kind of a vacation for you. also. I feel like part of the mystique for you is sitting in the library and reading these books, and not just checking them out and bringing them home. It's possible that in your current situation you would not be reading the books if you had checked them out and brought them home, that you're much more likely to read these books at the library. Alright, Sagittarius, if you would present your questions, and I'm going to rub them into the cover of this book, and it will become very supple, and the answers will pour forth. Oh, this one down here. I'm gonna eat that one. Very refreshing, yes. Nice and juicy. Oh, right. One more over here. Okay, Sagittarius. Wish not for the death of thy kinsman, that thou mayest inherit his worldly goods. Sounds kind of harsh, but this could be any kind of thing, like, oh, I wish my roommate would get another shift at work so that they wouldn't be here. Or I wish my partner possibly would have plans for the night so that they'll go out and leave me here by myself or something like that. That one's not quite as apt. It's more like wishing harm on someone else for your own benefit. Mind that you don't fall into any traps like that over the week ahead, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome back. To sit at the table. It's taken me so long to sit at the table. This could be a situation where you have been vying for a spot on a guest list that is very prestigious, or have recently become a close confidant or advisor on a board that serves an organization where you've got a lot of power all of a sudden. It's going to be a situation like that, like I've really made it, like that kind of energies, sitting at my place at the table. And there being this kind of idea, although it's much more sophisticated than this, but the idea of graduating from the kids' table at Thanksgiving and getting to sit at the adults' table, which is pretty arbitrary. I think it usually has more to do with how much seating is available, and it doesn't have as much to do with anything like deserving or anything like that. So, as I said, that's kind of an oversimplification, and it glosses over some of the salient points, which is that this is a position which you have worked very hard to achieve, Capricorn. And as much as you are glad and grateful to be here, there's a lot of prestige to it. You've got your name on a little, like, placard that sits in front of your plate, you know. There's a lot of prestige and elegance, but there's a lot of heaviness too, and a lot of responsibility. A lot of these really powerful organizations have problems within them. Excuse me. I'm very sorry for my stomach noises that I make in every single video. But that this is a great opportunity for you. This is going to be something that ends up coming through for you in the week ahead. And it is going to be an excellent opportunity for you, but this is going to change a lot of things. And there are sacrifices that you will have to make to maintain your position here. So be mindful of that in the week ahead. But just know that this is a good position for you to take. It's an excellent opportunity, Capricorn. And if you would just direct your questions here into the cover of this book, I'll take that. And some of these. And this one. And a beer. I'm gonna eat that one. Perhaps it is the questions making me dyspeptic. Maybe I should cut back. What do you think? If thou dislikest the law, meddle not with it. So there you go. Don't like that drugs are illegal. Well, don't get caught with drugs. And other such things. I'm not saying don't break the law. I'm saying stay away from the law. Capricorn, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, Aquarius. Welcome back, Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. It's somehow softer. It's like you're busy this week, but it's not like being busy. It's like, that there's just a lot going on around you, but that your responsibility to these matters is not necessarily, the most important thing. Like, you might be living somewhere that's being renovated, and so there's a lot going on around you, and it is going to affect your schedule somewhat, but you're not the one who is participating in the renovation actively. right? So you're not having to do the work of the renovation. It's that kind of a thing. And so you're going to have to plan certain parts of your life around it. But overall, it's not going to affect you the same way as if that was something that was your responsibility. Teachers. I feel like there are a lot of teachers who are coming into your life, and they are not necessarily teachers that you've hired, although some of you, because this is a general reading, some of you might be going back to school. I know my own child is going back to school August 2nd, so some of you might be returning to a school atmosphere and have a lot of teachers, but some of you are merely going to be experiencing people coming into your life who are able to impart knowledge and lessons to you. And it is going to improve your life. It's going to make your life much better. Not that you couldn't have made your life better on your own, but that the aid of these other people is going to help move you forward and evolve as a person. Alright, Aquarius, if you would, please direct your questions here into the cover of this book. Got one here. Got another one up here. One right here. Excellent, excellent, excellent. This actually isn't in the book, but I'm hearing very clearly the bridge that is burned no longer requires maintenance. The bridge that is burned is not bumpy to drive over. The bridge that is burned cannot carry you across the water, but maybe you'd like to try swimming instead. So there could be situations where you've been working very hard to maintain certain relationships with people, and it might be getting less and less appropriate to do so. Like you might be getting less and less in return. The bridge that is burned no longer requires regular maintenance. Aquarius, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Hello, Pisces. Pisces, 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 Pisces. Pisces, Pisces, Pisces. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back. So, Pisces, this has to do with your aquatic activities. I feel like some of you might be involved in surfing or bodyboarding or like taking time to go out to the ocean or getting in the swimming pool, being very true energetically to the elemental of water, being very true to the element of water during the next week. So some of you might have planned a beach vacation. Some of you might just be going to the beach like the therapeutic properties of regularly exposing yourself to water. Going swimming, going surfing, maybe even paddleboarding or canoeing, just getting out onto the water. And the healing that is available to your joints and your muscles through aquatic submersion. So that if you're having a lot of body pains, or even things like your allergies or any kind of inflammation you might be experiencing, it might be good for you to get into the water. Now, I am not a doctor, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not saying that it's going to cure any of those things in any way. It might even just be physically and emotionally you feel better when you're close to the water. But there is something very specific about immersing yourself in water that is going to have very good therapeutic effects for you over the week ahead, Pisces, over the week ahead. Alright, so if you would, please direct your questions here to this book. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. You figured it all out, didn't you? Yeah, I thought you probably would by the time I got to the end of your reading. It is decreed that thou shalt find another's property, but it behooves thee to restore it to the right owner. I'm going to take this a step further and remind you that you are always doing the right thing when you pay it forward. Pay it forward, pay it forward. Pay it forward, pay it forward. I'm talking about good vibes only. Paying for somebody's coffee or their groceries, or holding the door, returning to them something which they didn't know they had lost. Alright, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know down in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you again very